with that, can we bring up Del and all the cast, everyone who's going to be up here to do the Q&A? Come on up. Give a warm welcome, everybody.
I'll bring them up one by one so they get a good intro. First of all, Emerson Collins, y'all, my producing partner who played the serial killer, Billy Joe, the hot serial killer. And we have with us tonight T. Ashante Moselle, who played Kyle. We also have Catherine Bayless in the house, who played the trophy wife. We have Blake MacGyver, who played our Andrew Christian shot boy. He also sang the closing credits. Blake is here tonight. Oh. And then we have David Cowgill, who plays Odell with the string tricks. Got struck by lightning in this movie. We have David Steen, who lost his leg in a bar fight. Come on up. We have the amazing Lorna Scott, who plays Vera Lisso, my favorite bigot. We have Rosemary Alexander, who played Dr. Eve in the original and is back tonight. And we have Newell Alexander, who finally found love, Mr. Wardell Owens. An actress I've worked with 15 times now, Miss Dale Dickey, who played Sissy tonight. And I've lost count on how many times I've worked with this amazing woman. I love her to death, Miss Ann Walker, who plays LaVonda.
Okay, so Ken Williams was going to answer any questions you have. He'll bring the mic around to you, so just raise your hand if you have a question.
All right.
Okay, will do. Thank you very much, San Diego.
Yes! Y'all are an amazing audience. So any questions for us?
Just raise your hand.
Well, while we wait for a question, I'll plug my good friend Levi Christ. He's going to be playing here in San Diego on August the 18th. What's the venue?
Sunset Temple.
Sunset Temple, yes. He played the preacher in the movie tonight. He's a Tony Award winner and fantastic in the role.
One way in the back.
Okay.
Go for it.
Oh, hi. My name is Meg Wiley. I have two questions. One, where was the film shot at?
We shot it in two pieces. We shot 11 and a half days in Winnipeg in Manitoba, and then 3.5 days in Dallas. So that we could really use the real Rose Room, and all of those locations were in Dallas, but most of it was in Winnipeg. 24 actors we flew up there.
And the real queens from the Rose Room.
Was there any like persecution in Dallas while you were there? I know it's a really Republican state.
Well, Dallas is really a blue city in the middle of a red state. They've been really great. The LGBT community there has always been incredibly supportive of specifically why we went and shot there. We shot in 2 different of their LGBT bars, and the Dallas Voice there has done a lot for us. So it's sort of our second home. I actually met Del working in Dallas, so we really, really love the community there.
They've been fantastic to us. So yes, that was 2. Now, anybody else? Or there's one right there. Yes, hi.
You said this is the final Sordid Lives, the final. Is that written in stone? Or
What did you say the other day in Fort Lauderdale, Ann?
What? I don't ever
she
remember
said-
what I said.
She said, y'all were dropping like flies.
We are dropping like flies. You just go no.
You know, we would, didn't it feel like a good ending to this franchise? Didn't y'all feel that? I just feel like that, I have more stories in me and I will use these actors up here and other things, but it just felt like that this was the completion of the Sordid Life story. So for me right now, never say never.
We sure had a good time, though. I mean, it's a 20-year run, for God's sake. Most all of us started 20 years ago in the play in 96.
Even Dale Dickey in the original play in 1996 understudied LaVonda.
That's
How
right.
crazy is that? She's
That's
played
right.
more Sordid Lives characters than I think anybody.
It's true.
Well, that brings me to my next question. To the original cast, what was it like to get together again?
Fabulous.
Always great.
Just fabulous. Ann Walker and I, 25 years ago at a party, said, God, we need to work together because we got along and had so much fun. And then we've probably spent 10 years in a dressing room side
That's
by
right.
side
Yeah.
doing the play. But returning...
Many plays, several plays. And
Shore's words. Anytime you get the chance to get the family together and play,
And this one particularly for me and Wardell, I just think that, Newell Alexander, I've always been in love with him, and his wife knows it. His wife knows it. And this time, I just loved every second of being there with him.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
it
we
was a
all
fun
did.
one.
Huh?
It was a fun one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about kissing you, I really didn't mind it all that much.
I didn't mind it. It didn't bother me a bit.
It didn't bother you at
Well,
all?
I
No.
saved you from that brother boy kiss and that nightmare. So. But everybody wanted that. I got a lot of letters about we want Wardell and Brother Boy to get together.
Oh,
Yeah.
isn't that
So
sweet?
you stole him from your brother.
Well,
Yes.
My question is for Emerson. Where did all those hot tattoos go?
Yeah, I just couldn't commit to any of them. I had a great time with them for 3 days. It was a really quick process, like 90 minutes, and my mask for mask look that happened. And the makeup artist was really amazing, and we sort of designed them together and had a great time putting. But yeah, I don't have a one.
I thought we all looked so good in this movie for being so old. Really? I
There's a
did.
question over
I
there.
thought, my God.
We got a question over here.
Playing the serial killer, especially in such an intimate scene.
Well, it was a fascinating process. Dell wrote the part for me, and I don't know what it says, that he's a bisexual necrophiliac serial killer. It's typecasting, I think, is the word for it. But no, it was amazing. I mean, I've been in the family now for 10 years, and I was very young when I first moved to LA to join the Sordid Lives family, and to watch all of these people work on stage and then work in a TV series and then have the opportunity to actually be in the project and act with Leslie Jordan is a dream come true as an actor, and all I had to do was help make the movie happen to do it. But so yeah, no, it was a great experience, far from the other roles that I've gotten to play, so I couldn't ask for anything more.
I don't think he just showed up. That takes a lot of skill and talent to do what he did to make us fall in love with someone who, fucks after they kill somebody. So.
It does make an awkward Grindr profile.
I honestly, when I watch that scene, I worry about myself. I go, where the fuck did that come from?
It couldn't have been all good reviews. Did you get any hate mail? Have you had to defend the picture, the movie in any way, out there?
Look, you know what? I mean, I'm a big mouth. As if any of you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, I say what I want. So I get a lot of hate from the Republicans and religious people, and that not just I don't want to clump everybody into one pile, but so far nobody has singled out the movie and gone after the movie. They go after me about other things, or if I write about the movie, they'll write me privately without having seen it, and I go, you know what? Come and see it. Come and see it before you judge. And then I point them to some scriptures, and. Like Sissy. Do you eat bacon? Bacon is good.
Have you played?
Yes.
Excuse me.
It is better for you.
I thought one of the great mistakes of the first movie was Sissy with the rubber band on the smoke. There was no mention in this film, and I was wondering if...
She's smoking.
Well, in the first movie, when she buys the cigarettes 3209, she commits to a life of smoking. She no longer needs the rubber band. So, y'all may need it. She does not. She's done. So,
So Dell, has the movie played in Texas yet?
Oh, yes.
And how did that go?
Ridiculously wonderful. I mean, we did San Antonio, Austin, Waco, Lubbock, Dallas, and we're going to Fort Worth. We're going back to Dallas. We're going to Tyler. So yes, it plays, and we've done Birmingham, and we've got a lot of southern cities coming up. They get it, you know, and there's a lot. I always say, when there's damage in the house, the movie really works. So I'm assuming there's damage in the house.
I'm ready to see it again. When's it going to be available?
Well, streaming and DVD, all of that'll be in October. We just closed a deal, actually, this morning with a distributor. And we're really excited. But we're also, we're playing a lot of other cities. We have another 15 to 20 markets that we're playing through the summer, because I hope you could see tonight. It's really important to us people get to experience this in a theater. There's sort of the community experience, I think, particularly with the climate that we're currently existing in, that the ability to sort of laugh together is really important. So we're bus and trucking it across the country to as many places as we can, and then it will be probably, if you follow our Facebook page or our website at verysordidwedding.com, as soon as the pre-order links are available, it'll be up there.
And we were very, very fortunate. We're not going to announce who we signed with, because there are others we have to tell we're not going with you. So, but we are thrilled, and we were very, very lucky that we had choices. So, yes, sir.
I've heard them before, but I think everybody else would benefit from hearing a few choice words and stories about Sarah Hundley.
Does anybody want to talk about Miss Hundley?
Well, Newell and I were asked by Dell and Emerson to accompany Sarah from Los Angeles to Winnipeg, Canada, because at the time that we shot the movie, she was really not physically able to make the trip by herself. She could walk about 10 feet before she had to have a wheelchair or something to sit down.
Did you ever see the movie Weekend at Bernie's?
So it was. So it was a difficult trip for her to make, and when we got there, Del met us as we came into the lobby, and I said, "Del Shores, you owe me."
But in that, she delivered, as you saw tonight, such a wonderful performance, and we hate that she didn't see this. I'll tell a really quick story. When I was on the road touring Florida, and she gave me permission to tell this story before she passed, I called her every day. We had a really great relationship. I'd go check on her. I'd call in and make sure she was okay and go over to see her. And so I'd call her, and it was during all of the campaigning, and she was a real big Democrat, and I swear she died because she just couldn't even think about the possibility of Trump getting into the White House. And I would call her every day, and she would just be so intoxicated, and she wasn't far off from Juanita. And so when I got back to LA, Emerson said, "You need to go over there and make sure she's going to be okay to get to Winnipeg, and tell her to taper off a little bit. We're okay with you drinking, but you got to taper off a little bit." So I sat down, and she had her cigarette, and she had her big glass of wine and her inhaler that she'd smoke and put it out, and then have a cough and spell, bam, bam, and then drink. And then I said, "Sarah, I need to talk to you about something." She said, "Well, this sounds serious. What do you want to talk to me about?" I said, "Well, every time that I call you from the road, it feels as if you're really intoxicated." She goes, "Well, what time have you been calling?" I said, "Well, around 4 or 5 in the afternoon." And she takes a drag. "Well, you're going to have to start calling earlier." We love her and we miss her, and she was truly that relative that we love. I mean, we all have those. So.
One more. It was so hard to get her to Winnipeg, and we called Emerson and said, "You better have a wheelchair on the set, because Sarah really can't stand up or walk around very much. And he got a wheelchair for her, and she never sat in it. That's how important it was to her.
All right, we have any more before we go? Where's one back? Oh, yes, Mike.
We all love Whoopi a lot. Her dedication to this movie, her travel.
Yeah, that's Mike Tristani and David invested in this movie. Thank y'all. We've got another investor, Larry Kozan, here tonight. So we appreciate all who gave to our Indiegogo, but also those who put money into the movie. Thank y'all. Emerson, tell us about Whoopi.
Well, so the Dell, she wanted to be in Sordid Lives, the series, the second season. She's a good friend of Caroline Ray's, and so she watched the series and loved it and loved Dell's work, and they had talked and sort of fanned out together. And so when Caroline told Whoopi we were doing a movie, she asked, is there a part for me in it? And called Dell, and yes, absolutely there is. And so I didn't ever think it would happen, if we're being really honest. I was like, oh, that's so sweet, she wants to, it'll never happen. So when we got our filming dates in Winnipeg, we sent them and said, this is the day we'd like to do it. And they said, we're so sorry, she's busy that day. I said, well, we're shooting for these 12 days. Does anything work? And they said, she's available this one Friday evening only. I said, okay, so we built the entire movie shoot schedule backwards from the wedding day with 18 principal actors on set. And she shot The View on a Thursday, finished at 12:30, got in her bus because she doesn't fly, and drove 27 hours to arrive in Winnipeg at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. And I was terrified. I thought, well, she's here. Like, is this going to work? And we got on the bus, and I love telling this because it's a tribute to, I think, why so many great actors have been a part of Dell's work for so many years. Because we got on the bus, and he said, you know, you can make it your own. You've been such a great advocate for our community, so just sort of say whatever you want. She looked at him and said, well, what you wrote is rather brilliant. How about I just say that? And she did.
She did.
We had her for 5 hours. She was great with all of the cast, with all of the crews. She knew it. She got through it. And at 9:30, we finished the shoot a little early for the day. And as we were walking back to her bus, she said, well, I don't know. I just get in the back of the bus and get off wherever I'm supposed to be next. And I said to her, you know, it's so interesting. Your people spent so many years working to get to the front of the bus. And she said, oh, honey, but the difference is now I own the bus.
Yeah, she's, you know, and she's been such a supporter for our community for so many years, but she truly, in that bus, when we got in there to talk to her, she said, I did this because we are in this together and we have to keep fighting for the community together. So that's why she truly did this movie. And she said, whatever my rep said, you use my name, you do whatever you need to publicize this film. So we love Whoopi.
Will each one of the actors tell us what your favorite scene from the movie was?
I'm sorry, what?
Will each of the actors tell us what your favorite scene from the movie was?
I think my favorite scene was in the hospital when I was talking to Brother Boy on the phone. I just love rambling on.
No.
You know, Del Shores can write the longest monologues where you just keep on talking about, because that's the way they do it in Texas, which is where I'm from. And thank you, like I'm doing now. Thank you very much. Okay, that was my favorite scene. Fuck you, Newell. Who said that?
Frying the bacon was my favorite scene. And making biscuits because I love the smell of food.
I like the scene with Scott Presley and Ashante and Kirk, where they were talking about, you know, you were that gay man that we could look up to when we were growing up, because, I don't know, that really touched me. There's so many people, and especially in the decades gone by, that were so alone and outcast, and it's nice to know that they weren't.
And y'all, I just want to say something. It's not easy to play a character that you don't believe, because she is such an advocate for our community. Yeah. So that was an amazing performance. And we love Lorna Scott.
I am a bitch. Yeah, okay.
But not a bigot.
Oh, here.
I got it.
You don't need to.
Mine is a simple little moment between Kyle and Sissy in the kitchen at the end. It's the end of that great run of Sissy trying to get the words right. Because I think it's something we often get caught up in. I just love that story. You know, she's learning, she's trying, she's progressing. And I think so we have to remember to see the progress of the people around us. And sometimes when we get obsessed with the words and we don't pay attention to the intention, I love Kyle sort of giving her the gift of, you know, it's what's in your heart, it's the intention of what you're doing that is what's most important.
Yeah, what I loved is that after all of the years that Dr. Reeve has harassed, berated, and tried to change Brother Boy, in the end, he gets it that it's all in his mind. He has the power, and he says, no, you go away forever, and I disintegrate.
That was great. Wonderful how you did that.
Yeah, that was a hard job.
Wow, that's hard to follow. I haven't ever disintegrated while acting, but I do want to. Ashante, stop that. Okay, I just want to go back a little bit before this movie to talk about, and I'm sure most of y'all know the series Sordid Lives, the series. And I was fortunate enough to work with Rue McClanahan, right? One of the most brilliant actresses of our time. And we were having an affair because Caroline Ray was such a bitch. And I went to other places to find my sexual life. So anyway, we were trying to get together one afternoon, and the motel was booked up. So Rue suggested we go to her granddaughter's playhouse. And I went, sounds good to me. So we actually went in there, and we were getting ready to start filming, and Del looked at us both when we were getting into position, literally, and he goes, I think I've got one take here, y'all, and let's tear the house down. So if you look at this series and you see us having sex in the granddaughter's playhouse, you'll notice right at the very end when I'm going, ride that pony, and she's going, giddy up, you'll actually see the bed break. And her hand from outside grabbing the wood window. And I thought that was one of my best scenes in my whole career.
It was great work.
So anyway, pass it on to what's his name?
You see why he didn't have many lines in this movie. Hi, I'm David, and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you. Hello. Actually, I'm Odell, and I had less lines than he did in this movie. What's my favorite? I had sex with Sarah Hundley in 1987. A lot of you don't know that. No, it's not true. For God's sakes. It was a joke.
I was worried.
I have a story about Sarah Hundley I was waiting to tell. Everybody talked about how before she got to Winnipeg and how difficult it was for her. When she got there, she walks up to me and she goes, "Where's Cowgill?" Which, that's my last name. And I go, "I'm right here." She goes, "Oh, great. Where's the guy that does the string tricks?" And in her inimitable way, Sarah was just so lovely and so awesome. We love her to death. I miss her. We think about her all the time, and it's a tough one to lose her. And I hope that the rest of us are here for another 20 years. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what we're hoping for. Or 40. But that was my Sarah story.
For me, it all boils down to the one moment towards the end of the film where Bonnie Bedelia is giving her sermon, and she says, "We've got to stop villainizing our children." And when I first read that line, that's actually what inspired me to write the song for the end of the film. As soon as I read that line, I was like, yeah, because that's who we are. I was like, oh my God, that's the title. This is who we are. Like, it's about representation, it's about acceptance, and it's about love. And so that moment still resonates with me every time I watch it.
Hey y'all, I'm Catherine Bayless. I play Greta. If y'all ever saw the series, you see the series? You did? Okay. Well, I play my identical twin. Like, I play, like, Nurse Waring's identical twins. Anyway, thank you, Dale. I appreciate that because we look exactly alike. You know what I mean? But anyway, okay, my favorite scene was obviously with Bonnie Bedelia and Del Dickey and Michael McRae and y'all. It was the first scene of the entire movie. It was at the butt crack of dawn in Winnipeg. And I get there and I'm in a half top and you saw it, whatever. I was like, appreciate this, y'all. And I'd take off my robe. Like, you take off your robe? I'm like, in a minute. Anyway, it was the best bitch fight ever with Bonnie Bedelia. And I had to keep it together with her right down there because she cracked me up every single time she like opened her mouth. And it was so fun like playing with Michael McRae because that was Bonnie Bedelia's husband in real life. And I'm like, hey, darling, you know what I mean? And just pissing her off even more. So anyway, first of all, we love each other, Bonnie and I, like really do. I thought she was going to hate me because I was playing her husband's slutty, like, new wife or whatever, but she didn't, thank God. Yay. Anyway, that was my favorite scene, and obviously every scene's amazing, and oh, yeah, one more thing. When Sarah Hunley did all the flowers on my head, y'all, that was not even planned. Like, that just happened, right? And it was a little bit of acting, but it's a little bit real. What is this? I don't want to call her a bitch, because she kind of was a bitch to me. She didn't really like girls. She liked all the boys. Anyway, love Sarah, love you, you're amazing, and you can pour flowers all over my head whenever you want, so, yay.
Tia Shanti Moselle, I play Kyle Coleman, Ty's husband. My favorite scene, I guess, working with Whoopi Goldberg was amazing. She plays my mother, and that's probably one of the biggest dreams of my life to have Celie play my mom. So that was probably the biggest moment of my life, and just being in the moment with her and sharing the screen with her was amazing beyond, and just sharing the screen with all these other actors. But Whoopi Goldberg, hands down, amazing.
Yeah, I've already done my best material, so I guess we can go ahead and move on. Thank you.
All right. Anything last, or we go party? Let's go party, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Y'all were so what? Y'all, one last thing they told me to say, be sure to fill out the forms at the end. Sordid Lives, the original film, won many, many festival awards, and it really helps. And so if you don't, it doesn't matter what you vote for us. Vote for your films this week. Go see films, and thank you so much for having us.